She has destroyed our economy far beyond anything Liz Truss ever did. Isn't it a bit convenient to say it was just a personal issue? In a heated exchange, panellists challenged the Chancellor's breakdown in Parliament and questioned the government's honesty in an explosive debate. The discussion reveals deep divisions over trust, leadership, and the future of UK politics, only on GB News. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated.
It plunged the pound, the bonds markets went crazy, and we're not being told what it was. So how do we know that's not going to happen again?
Well, I mean, I just think what Sean said is just completely wrong. I mean, let's actually look at what's happened today, because this is the most over-analysed 3 seconds of tears in world history. So the Prime Minister's expressed full confidence in Rachel, and the markets have reacted to that incredibly positively. All the little jitters of yesterday afternoon, when the incident happened yesterday lunchtime, have gone. I mean, let's just quote the chief economist, UK economist at Deutsche Bank. Oh. The market is certainly giving the Chancellor a vote of confidence. So, Rachel Reeves will remain Chancellor until the next election, as far as I can see.
She may well remain Chancellor, because what happens now, first and foremost, right, anybody watching this who's a manager would think, well, if that was a member of my staff, I would have done something to support them. Mm-hmm. That's where Keir Starmer should be.
It's a HR issue now.
And let's be clear, if Keir Starmer sacks her, it would look horrific, because if she's had a bad day, it's because he U-turned. She's 57 billion behind where she wanted to be, largely because of decisions he's made. Of course she had a bad day.
So, well, go on. The other aspect to this, Anna, of course, we were focusing a bit on Rachel Reeves there, but Sir Keir Starmer standing up there and he's peddling the line that he had no idea that it was going on next to him. I get that there's cut and thrust at PMQs. With the best will in the world, if one of you started crying now, I'd notice. I would notice. We would all notice.
Well, actually, I can't... seriously, Patrick, I can't actually see Anna's face from the angle I'm seeing it. Yeah, absolutely. But look, it's, I think the idea that she was necessarily going to see what was going... She wasn't, weeping. Some tears were slipping down her face.
Sir Keir Starmer?
Yes.
Is he not asking us to think that he's the most oblivious man in Britain?
No, Sir Keir Starmer is a robot. He's got the empathy, the emotional intelligence of a dead slug. So I totally get the fact that is his job. Last night, all his clients are ringing, saying, should I now be selling? Because are we now looking at a situation where Keir Starmer is not going to last? Because the story always begins with the Chancellor. When the Chancellor goes, as we saw with Kwasi, as we've seen in the past with Rishi, we know how that story ends. That is why...
Well, the city's pretty emphatic in what it says about Rachel today. Another quote from an economist in the city. The gilt market likes the ironclad commitment to the fiscal rules and Chancellor Reeves' strong track record.
That leads me on to the next point.
Hold on. Let's be clear. She has failed. She's 57 billion behind where she wanted to be. Let's be clear. If you ask businesses in this country, the first thing they'll tell you about is her NI rights.
Guys,
they'll tell you about that. The markets are important, but they're not only...
No, they're not. And a year ago today, when you and I and Patrick were all in a darts in Essex, which you mustn't forget, we're along with some lovely GB...
to be on honeymoon.
Instead you were with me, Sean, and 500 GB News viewers.
Strip club.
But, I'm pleased you're in
It's
Essex.
a fine county. But it is, it is a year ago that the Tories were thrown out of office, and the Tories today are slipping into 4th place in the polls.
Matthew,
of course, the government...
that is a total irrelevance. We have had...
It's not an irrelevance. Your party's dying.
We have had...
You won't have a party to be a member of, Anna.
I cannot believe you've got the brass neck to sit on this sofa and say that. Your party is now destroying our economy.
How's it destroying the economy?
You tell that to the family farmers. You tell that to
the family farm, the £3 million owner family farmers. Anna, if what you think is so popular, why is nobody voting for it?
You need to come down to Essex more often. You need to talk to the small businesses.
Why do you go to Kent? Why do you go to all the councils that your party lost, Anna? Because the Tories are dead in the water. You can scream us, Anna. You can...
Absolutely no doubt in my mind she's getting an easier ride. Now, part of it is the Labour government are just about a year old or whatever it is. They haven't been around that long. So that's part of it. But the other part of it is the part of our press that does the best character assassinations is on her side, on the left. But her time will come to an end. Keir Starmer's easy rides will come to an end. We've seen signs of it before.
I don't think they think they've had an easy ride, Sean.
Let's be clear. The most important thing she's done is tank the economy. Just one measure. Let's talk about one important...
4 interest rate cuts.
When she changed NI, businesses in this country panicked and they continued to panic. You saw the fluctuation in the market because they do believe at some point this Chancellor will continue the downward spiral.
My Tory friends, you can talk it down. Anna, I'm talking.
Unemployment is going up.
Yeah.
Foreign direct investment is going down.
OK, if I did...
Thank you.
You mentioned...
Sorry, they've got two Tories here and one Labour person.
I get it. So I want to put to you, Matthew, that you mentioned there the fact that a year ago we were in that...
Absolutely, having fun.
Was it Purfleet? Was that right?
Yes.
It was a cracking night, actually. Thanks for everyone who came. But...
Look, has the government delivered all of my expectations of a year ago? No. If you'd asked me on that night, do I think it was going to be an easy year, particularly with the legacy after 15 years of failure that the government had? No, I don't think it was going to be all green grass and clover either. Are there things the government needs to do better? Of course there are. Yeah. But as we've seen quite clearly, what has stayed the same from last year is the Tories are irrelevant and it's a battle between Labour and Reform for the future of Britain.
Just because we're nearing the end of this segment, do you think that her crying in the Commons yesterday saved her job?
I think there's something in that, and I think that isn't right either, because what happened yesterday should never happen. It was incredibly unprofessional and it was incredibly bad for this country, and we cannot have we just can't have this level of childishness. I mean, I'm really sympathetic.
I don't think tears are childishness, Anna. Because none of us know what the personal issue was.
Let me say this, because
that's very unpleasant.
I'm really sympathetic to her being...
Well, not if you're calling her childish.
It was horrible. What is childish is is her being sent into the chamber and not being...
She decided to go in herself.
Should she not say a bit more about what the central...
No, because private things are private.